Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time there lived two children called Hansel and Gretel. They lived with their father, a woodcutter, and their wicked stepmother. The family was very poor. The woodcutter could no longer provide food for them. One night his wife said, "You should take the children into the forest and leave them there." Hansel and Gretel overheard and were very sad. Hansel quietly crept outside and found some pebbles. He put them in his pockets and went back inside. The next morning they all went for a walk deep into the woods. As they walked, Hansel dropped the pebbles along the path. As they got further into the dark forest, Hansel and Gretel became very tired, so the woodcutter made a fire and told them to rest there. When they awoke, no one was around, but Hansel's plan had worked, and they followed the pebbles all the way back home. When they arrived home, the woodcutter was so happy to see them. However, their stepmother was very cross. Later that night, she told the woodcutter, "Take the children into the forest again, and this time make sure they don't come back." The next day, the stepmother gave Hansel and Gretel a slice of bread each, and they set out into the forest again. This time, as they walked into the forest, Hansel dropped breadcrumbs along the path. And once again the children became tired, and the woodcutter helped build a fire and told them to rest. Once they awoke, they found themselves all alone again, and Hansel realized the birds had eaten all of the breadcrumbs. Hansel and Gretel walked and walked until eventually they came across a house made of sweets. Hansel and Gretel were very hungry, and they began to eat the sweets from the house. All of a sudden an old woman appeared. "Come inside, little children," she said. Once the children were inside, they realized that the old woman was in fact a witch. She locked Hansel in a cage because she wanted to fatten him up to eat him, and she made Gretel do all the jobs in the house. One day the witch showed Gretel the oven and told her it was where she would cook Hansel. Gretel was scared and decided not to let this happen. Later, when Gretel was cooking, she tricked the witch to look inside the oven. Gretel very quickly pushed the witch straight inside. Next, Gretel found the key to the cage with Hansel in. She opened it and got him out. Before leaving, Hansel and Gretel had a look around the house. They found a chest full of treasure. They decided to bring the chest home with them. Hansel and Gretel walked for a long time. They eventually found a path they recognized. They followed the path and it took them back home. Their father, the woodcutter, was so happy to see them. He told them their wicked stepmother had left and that the treasure meant they would never go hungry again. The three of them lived happily ever after. The end. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. From Mrs. Bailey.